Malika Andrews back in the studio. We got Richard Jefferson. Perk is out there in Houston. And guys, I want to get to the Lakers. LeBron posting these photos on his Instagram, working out with Russell Westbrook, with the caption saying, "I agree. I don't think this will work, Russell." Kendrick, obviously some heavy sarcasm there. What is your thought, friend, on LeBron's fit with Russ this season on the court? We already know they're friends off the court.
Well, I mean, look. I've been trying to warn the world, and it's just like those old people, like my grandparents used to tell me when my grandmother was cooking, "Hey, don't touch that oven, it's hot." And then you have to learn. You touch the oven, then it get burnt. This is what's about to happen to all the people that are doubting or having something to say about whether or not Russell Westbrook and LeBron James are going to work on the court. Yes, it's going to work, okay? Russell Westbrook has proven us that he is a guy that is willing to facilitate for others. LeBron James don't want to carry that load no more. LeBron James has showed us that he could play alongside another non-shooting superstar like he did with Dwayne Wade and still win championships. Look, to all the people that are doubting Russ and LeBron and the Lakers, answer this. When we get to the postseason, name a team just in the Western Conference alone that could beat this Lakers team fully healthy in the 7-game series, and I'll wait.
Okay, well, first of all, Rachel, to address your point, I don't think Bron was being sarcastic when he says, yeah, this won't work. I don't think he was being sarcastic. I think he was telling the truth. And secondly, no one cares about the 82 when it comes to the Lakers. Truth be told, no one cares about the 82 when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. They will be purely judged on their 16. The 16 that it takes to win a championship. If they don't win, it's a failure. That's part of Bron's legacy. If they win, it'll be a part of his legacy.
For those 16 games, how do you think the X and O fit is?
This is what's crazy. People that try and compare him to D. Wade is completely false because D. Wade was a high-level defender. He was more of I'm not going to drive. He might not even shoot that many threes. Well, Russ will shoot threes regardless of what his percentage says. He knocks down shots. He's a high-level player. But no one knows. I don't think we've ever seen a pairing like these two, like LeBron and Russell Westbrook, with the same type of expectations of like, it's either championship or bust. So while Perk is going to tell us like, I've been telling you guys and I've been warning everybody, that was my Perk voice. I don't know what it's going to do, and we're only going to be able to really figure it out in 16.
But did the Nets have those expectations? That sort of matchup of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden? I feel like that was immediately. But I did look at those. That's the Richard I got you. I love that. This is the highlight of my day. Check. Done. When you look at Dwayne Wade's shooting, right? All right. He shot 29% career 29% three-point shooter for his career. Russ at 32%. So it's a little bit better. But then I was looking at all these numbers and thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I care. I want it to work. Narrative-wise, looking at it, I want it to work. So I want something to look forward to watching. What duo, to your point about expectations around the league, what duo, trio, when you add Anthony Davis into it and the rest of it, has this much excitement about it heading into this season? I'm excited to watch this.
Well,
God, that face.
Yes, we're glad that. But this is the other thing. Go back and look at the Miami Heat lineup. They had Ray Allen. They had Mike Miller. They had Shane Battier. So they had supreme shooting.
But that's the issue, right?
Supreme shooting.
The comparison to me isn't between this team and LeBron's Miami Heat teams. That was a different decade, frankly, where the league was very different, right? We hadn't seen the three-point explosion and everything going on. I'm more interested in comparing it to last year's Lakers team, right? And if you look at the shooting numbers, yes, when they signed Russ, they did not have a very full roster. It was, you could count on one hand the number of signed guys they've had. But they have filled it out. And you look at the shooting numbers, last season, the Lakers shot 54% from 2, 35% from 3. Well, this season, Perk, if you look at those same guys on the roster and you just add up what they would have shot last season if they had been a team together, it's 53% from 2, so that's roughly the same. 37% from 3. So the three-point numbers are actually going up. They actually have better three-point shooting on this roster than last year's roster. And those couple percentage points, they might not seem like a big deal. But last year, the Lakers were 21st in the league in three-point shooting. This year's roster, this coming season, if they had all been together last year, they would have been good enough to be 13 in the league. That is a significant jump, Perk. And that is why I think you're very optimistic.
Well, look, first of all, Rachel, let me bend the pot on Richard for a second. I wasn't saying that Russell Westbrook and Dwayne Wade are the same type of player or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, when you look at Russell Westbrook, what's one thing that he loves to do as a big point guard? He loves to take smaller guys to the low block, get to the free throw line, or punish them down low. Dwayne Wade was a hell of a post-up guy. Same with LeBron James. Also, who did the Lakers add this year to their coaching staff? David Fizdale. Who was LeBron James and Dwayne Wade working out with for their low post game, cutting off each other? It was Fizdale. And then you add Phil Handy. This is the thing that people don't know about Russell Westbrook. In the offseason, he never trains with a personal trainer. He always goes in the gym with his dad. Now you get Mr. 94 feet himself, Phil Handy, one of the best player development coaches in the game, if not the best player development coach in the game. And now he gets to get his hands on Russell Westbrook and fine-tune and work on a few things on how to step into his jump shot instead of shooting his shot off 2 feet straight up and down.
We're going to change his shot formula 13 years in.
You know what Phil Handy did for your game.
Well, look, no. Listen, I'm not disrespecting Phil Handy. The only thing I'm saying, and to Rachel's point, when you put the group together and you look at it, it's going to come down to possession basketball when you're talking about winning a championship. And as long as they play the right type of possession basketball, then I think that they're either one or they're number two behind the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, you just see the roster construction too. Look, LeBron's first season here in Los Angeles, the Lakers came out and said it. They said, we're going to try something different. We don't think we need to put a lot of shooting around LeBron. It did not work. They made a big course correct there, and they have clearly decided, you know what has been true of LeBron his whole career, that he needs shooters around him? Maybe we should just go with that. And if you look at the numbers for this roster, they are better than advertised. Once you add in those new younger players that they got, not in the first day of free agency, but in the second and third day of free agency, again, their three-point shooting numbers have actually ticked up. You perk on Phil Handy. I mean, everywhere that man goes, championship rings follow. I don't know, though, what you started out with when your grandma told you to touch a hot stove and you had to learn for yourself. I just want to know, I think Malika didn't have to learn for herself. I think she knew already that the stove was hot. I think Richard never learned. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's you got to be from the country, and I mean, some certain things just happen down south that it don't happen around other parts of the world. But I will say this: we overemphasize shooting so much, but the Milwaukee Bucks showed us that you could get it done without actually shooting the ball very well in this postseason when they won the championship. Long as you have a superstar to take you home, which the Lakers do have a few of them on their team, a few Hall of Famers that could close out games, you could win a championship. I just think we overemphasize shooting. We watch Joe Harris shoot the lights out in the regular season, and then to come in the postseason, he was shooting the ball like me. So I don't want to put too much emphasis in three-point shooting. I just said when it matters the most and it gets down to possession by possession in the fourth quarter, it's time for the guys to get paid the big bucks. And they got a few of them on the Lakers roster.
It's going to be so good. Malika, thank you so much for joining us today. You're going to be with us here in LA for the rest of the week, so don't go too far.
No. Stuck with me.
You guys don't go too far either, because NBA Twitter legend Josiah Johnson joining us to tell us about his creative process. He'll play a little game of retweet or delete with Perk and Richard's recent tweets. Whoa. Keep it locked. This is going to be so good.
I'm glad I don't tweet.
Sitting next to Squidward. But let's go.
That might be the first time me and Perk are going to agree on something today. We're going to agree on that today.
We appreciate your support, Perk. I want to start with the trade first, reported by WOJ. The Clippers dealing Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, Daniel Oturu to Memphis for Eric Bledsoe. Memphis has 16 guaranteed contracts now, so they will be open to trade for some of the players returning in this deal. The trade saves the Clippers $30 million in luxury tax. Also creates that $8.3 million traded player exception, so they have a year to use that, Richard. What are your takeaways from this deal?
Well, I think the Clippers obviously saved a ton of money, and they put themselves in a position to do something later down the line. You know, there's always those opportunities whether someone's unhappy or this, and so if you have a little bit more flexibility, especially that trade exception, That's what the Clippers are looking at. This is also a year without Kawhi. That's what it's looking like. So why carry that extra $30 million when you know the chances of winning a championship without one of the best players in the league is pretty slim? So I like the move.
Absolutely. And I had a chance to speak with Eric Bledsoe yesterday, and he's excited about this move to go back to where he started, right? He has a chance to have a look at winning. I know that Kawhi Leonard isn't actually going to be there for who knows how long of the season. That hurts their chances quite a bit. But from going in a New Orleans situation where it was really about mentorship, where it was really about figuring out what that team was about, to a team that has aspirations to win, that was a big piece of this puzzle for him, as well as who doesn't like to be back in sunny California, baby. Yeah. And then, like you said, the Grizzlies, there's still some pieces. I expect another shoe to fall, as Adrian Wojnarowski reported, with this deal.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually love this for Eric Bledsoe. I think, over the past couple of years, he hasn't, got the fast shake. Things didn't work well in Milwaukee for him, and things didn't work out well in New Orleans for him. But I think going with the Clippers with Ty Lue, being under Ty Lue wing, Ty Lue is going to put Eric Bledsoe in the best position possible to be successful. Now, when I'm looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, I actually think that they did pretty good in this trade. You acquire a guy like Patrick Beverley that is going to bring that tenacity, bring that type of leadership, that grind mentality that Tony Allen and Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol established way before Ja Morant got there. We know that in Memphis, it's a hostile environment. I think it's a perfect fit for Pat Bev if they decide to keep him, along with Rajon Rondo. If Rondo wants to stay in Memphis, I don't blame him. He could become a huge mentor to Ja Morant for his success, for as being one of the best floor generals to ever play the game in my eyes. Now he could mentor Ja Morant on how to do certain things, how to be a leader on and off the court. So I look at both sides, and I think both sides won in this deal.
Yeah, it's nice. You kind of feel like a lot of the players won also with Eric Bledsoe. It's tough when you get dealt off a team that goes on to win a championship, right? I mean, you start to feel like, did they win it without me for a reason? Drew Holiday, obviously such a huge part of that title, the way that exchange was.
It happened to me 3 or 4 times.
Richard,
San Antonio, Golden State, like it happened all the time.
Everywhere you leave, people win? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't go that far. There's still quite a few.
No? Okay.
Fine. It's fine, Eric.
I think it'll be great for him. And who knows with Kawhi, right? I mean, we don't expect him for the bulk of the regular season, and certainly his injury history is to be more careful and be on the more conservative side. But he could be back for the playoffs. And this is a team that has shown this past postseason that they can roll with the punches. They have a veteran presence on them, and we'll just have to see how it happens. I don't think Memphis knows yet which pieces they are going to keep. I think it will depend on the offers they get in the coming weeks. I want to move on to Summer League, though, guys. They're always testing new rule ideas in Vegas. And this year we have gotten sudden death overtime. Perk, do you like this? Would you want to see it during the regular season?
Absolutely not, Rachel. I don't like it because, look, I mean, do you see these shots that these teams are making? That means, like, whoever gets the ball first, all you have to do is draw a foul or move the ball around and make one shot to end the game. I don't like this rule. If they was to put this rule into the NBA, can you imagine how many upsets would happen? How many teams could possibly win championships, but just going into overtime? I don't like it in Summer League, and I definitely don't like it in the season.
Oh, it's such a beautiful Monday when me and Perk actually agree, because I think it is a terrible idea. I think it's an awful idea. Look, go back, right? I was having a conversation with our producer, and we were talking, and I was like, think about it. When you had Patrick Mahomes and you had Tom Brady going against each other in the championship game, next thing you know, Tom Brady goes in overtime, he completes 8 straight passes. We don't even get to see Pat Mahomes on the field. The last thing you would want to see is a 5-minute quote-unquote period where the best players don't get the ball. If you got Steph Curry versus Kevin Durant, if you got LeBron James versus James Harden, you want both of them to get opportunities to shoot the ball or to make a play. And so while it is cute in the Summer League, I don't think that that's something that we should transfer over to the big boy league.
But I like it in Summer League. I like watching it in Summer League. I like watching it in Summer League. I got into the TBT tournament in the offseason. I got into watching that. I liked watching the Elam endings. It kind of made my blood pressure rise in a way that only it does in a certain amount of NBA NBA games. That being said, having it in a regular season NBA game when everything is on the line, that probably shouldn't happen. But that,
I mean, the Elam ending though isn't, and as you know, the Elam ending isn't sudden death.
No.
So that addresses Richard's concern, right? In the Elam ending, everyone touches the ball.
And it's fun.
Yes.
I don't even know what Elam ending is.
It's what they've done in the All-Star game the past couple seasons. Welcome to covering the NBA. I'm so glad you could join us.
I just found out about the sudden death rule. That shows you how much that I've been watching. What I will say, and this is where it's cool with it, what they should do, this should be in the preseason.
Just
preseason.
Yeah, because nobody ever wants preseason
That's
overtime.
What nobody wants. Nobody
right.
wants in overtime because you got guys that will never basically really touch the floor in a crucial NBA situation. So yes, give us a situation where you have a sudden death. But I think in preseason, 100% use it in preseason. The worst thing that could ever happen is that overtime game in preseason.
You have to also realize it's 5 minutes in basketball, right? In hockey, they changed things to a shootout during the regular season because playing in a whole additional 20-minute overtime and then another 2-minute overtime, right? So
soccer should do
that's
golden
a lot,
goal, though.
right?
Soccer should do golden goal.
Right?
The PK.
That's it. But you don't need 20
is.
minutes. 5 minutes, you guys can tough it out for 5 minutes. Also in Summer League action, we had some action, guys. Mavs forward Eugene Omoruyi and Kings forward Chimezie Metu. They were both ejected for their roles in this little melee. Metu took a swing in reaction to the flagrant foul. So, Malika, how serious do you expect the punishment from the league to be?
So I was actually going back and forth with research, and I need Bobby Marks to come into my ear magically right now because I think it's going to be as serious as it can be because the league has worked so hard, as you know, Rachel, to try to sort of eradicate this idea of it being a rough and tumble league where people are allowed or have leeway to throw punches ever since Malice in the Palace, blah, 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 right? But for Summer League, I was rifling through the rule book trying to figure out, okay, how exactly for guys who may or may not be on a roster, for guys who may or may not have another game that they could actually be suspended, how the heck does that work? So as serious as it can be for Summer League, and now I'm going to go back to reading the rule book so Richard can talk. I know he doesn't know. So
no idea, but I will say this. You got a bunch of guys that are trying to make it.
Yeah.
And you go and give a hard foul. This is not the postseason, right? There's a level of respect that needs to go on when you talk about Summer League and they wonder why, the top 5 picks only play 2 or 3 games. It's for situations like this because no heroes are made in Summer League. No hard foul in that moment. Look, might have been a leg up there. There was definitely a follow through. Look, at the end of the day, look, right here, even the leg that comes and he trips over, that could be the end of a season. That could be the end of a career. That could be the end of an opportunity. Oof. You just don't do that in those moments, especially with a guy in the air. I'm not even upset with him, but I'll tell you this. You do that in the big boy league, you will not be around for very long.
I mean, look, here it is. I agree with RJ, right? You got guys fighting for their life. I agree with you, Richard. You have guys fighting for their livelihoods. You have guys out there competing. And I don't mind a little cat fight every now and then. That wasn't nothing. That's guys showing passion. And RJ, if you had been watching the Summer League games, you would have known that these games have been very, very competitive.
Bro, that's cute. That's
no,
cute.
You haven't been watching.
I watched.
Perk and I actually went to Summer League, so
I saw you guys. You guys did an outstanding job.
Some of that in person. But Perk, I think part of the issue too is, look, you're right. You've got guys trying to prove that they can make it, and they're tough, and they're hungry, and they want it. There's a line, though, and this is something you did so well in your career. Everybody knew you did not want to get into it with Kendrick Perkins, right? If Kendrick Perkins was coming knocking on your door, things were not going well for you. But, Perk, you knew you're not out there throwing punches, right?
Look at
You're
Tim.
just showing the messaging, getting the message across, right?
Yeah, but Rachel, if I had the opportunity to change the hands of times, I would not have done those actions because it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but doing those actions made you millions.
That's a great way to
there's
put
a
it.
balance there, Big Perk.
No, hey, Rich, you're not about to sit up here and try to downplay my career like pushing people is what made me millions.
I'm saying the fire and the intensity
and toughness.
I
know it's weird, but he did just compliment you. I know it's just.
It was a backhanded compliment. Let's not get carried away.
It's never a compliment.
And there you go. Malika, I believe, has had enough of us for a few minutes, so she's going to duck out. But she will be back later in the show. Coming up, #1 overall pick Cade Cunningham hit 7 threes on Friday in Summer League. What are your expectations for his rookie season. He dug up some old IG photos and the sort of early posts of NBA stars. So you see LeBron here, Jason Tatum looking really young, CP3 celebrating a gold medal, and the captions are amazing. Luka Doncic, a little more internet savvy than his older compatriots when they started out. Richard, we wanted to go through your old IG photos, but you apparently just found out Instagram existed 2 years ago.
No, that's not true. I actually scrubbed mine of all negative stuff so that I could keep my job when I showed up here. You know how they're teaching everybody to scrub their internet? It's like I didn't want to be like, God, I can't stand Kendrick Perkins. Like, I didn't want that stuff on my internet.
Instead, you just put new stuff saying you can't stand Kendrick Perkins on your...
I needed new stuff. Yeah.
It's
hey,
fine.
guys, they'll cancel you quick. Scrub your internet. Hey, scrub all the things you have on the web.
Today. We used to that outfit.
Oh, hey, time is running out, Perk. Time is gone. We're going to break. Roll to break.
Cool.
You could say it's a make or mislead.
I don't believe that.
Okay. Then you don't have to say it.
I appreciate it. It's a make or mislead.
Oh, we got to keep
Make
it there.
glass, a pair of backboard alley-oops by the Kings at Summer League. Perk, maybe they're just testing the durability of the backboard in Vegas.
Ooh.
Hey, Rachel, I tried to tell the world this is the most athletic draft in NBA history.
You did say that, Perk. I don't listen to a lot of stuff you say, but that was pretty accurate. When I watched some of these guys fly, but it was more of the ease with the athleticism. Like, they can do it in different ways. Like, look at that. Just off the backboard, and then he tried to go Kenyon Martin on the rim. If you guys don't know, young people, Google it. Kenyon tried to rip the rim off on the most simplest of dunks every time.
Yeah, it's called snatching the screws out the rim, Rich.
Yeah, that wasn't my thing. I was like, no fingerprints, no evidence.
You were like, just lay it in.
Yeah. Just flush
lay it in.
Ooh, off the glass? These kids might be able to play one day.
Miss injuries. Keep your eye on Rajon Tucker at the top of your screen. So he's limping. But then the Sixers get out and run. Oh, look, he's scoring! He catches a lot. BB, I got it. Oh, look at that. I mean, alley-oops clearly have healing powers, Richard. That's the only explanation for this.
There are certain people that are super fast when they have the ball in their hands and are super slow when they don't. And there's individuals that...
I'm hit.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm hit.
Fine.
I can't make it. Oh, now I can.
Does that count as like a flopping?
No, not if you just have a, slower gait. No.
Yeah.
No, but
Perk, you got anything?
No, I really could see you doing this in the game.
I was going to say, you can do this on the show sometimes.
No, that's not what I do. I do that, yes, but I didn't limp out. I was a track star. That's it. I just ran for days. No
Past
skills.
tense. Make buckets. All right, so after his game winner last Thursday, Cam Thomas has not skipped a beat, hit this dagger against the Spurs. 3 of his 36 total points, Perk. I mean, the Nets got a steal here, right?
They did. He was the best scorer in this draft, Rachel. I'm surprised he went that low. He literally could have went top 15, but this kid is a flat-out bucket, and yes, the Nets did get a steal with him.
They got potential. They did not get a steal, right? Like, he scored a lot of points, didn't shoot a great percentage. If you watch him play, the ball is in his hand. You want to know one place the ball is not going to be in his hands? When he's playing with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. So he's got to adjust his game from being a 23-point-a-game scorer in college, 40% from the field. He's got to be an efficient shooter.
But he's
he's got potential.
Learning, right?
He's got a
Distraction. Check out the ankle breaker by Trevlin Queen. Puts the defender on the hardwood. Perk, we want to know if your crossover skills match these crossover skills.
Rachel, you seen the video when I was in the street handling the ball. You seen me doing the sound guard. I got a lot in my bag. I just wasn't able to use it. But look, that was simple. That was a simple 1-2 behind the back, get to the rack. That's easy right there. I got that in my bag for sure.
There we go.
And honestly, I got to give a lot of respect. If you're getting highlights right now, you got to enjoy it. I don't know how many of those guys are going to be on the Lakers roster, but, hey. No, but my favorite thing about Summer League is that it doesn't matter what team you're playing on, you're auditioning for all of them.
Yes,
I think that's awesome. You're auditioning for all of them.
That is absolutely true. And, those moves, Perk, I think you've got all the moves. It's kind of like Steve Nash has said he wished there was the green light for shooting when he played for the 7 seconds or less Suns that there is for players in the league now.
Like 120 a game.
It's like as if if he had gotten that green light, we would have seen an entirely different Kendrick Perkins. I believe in you, Perk. I do.
Appreciate it, Rachel. I mean, you don't go to the University of Cash not being able to have skills. So, I appreciate it.
Let's stick with Summer League, guys, because number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham, made seven threes on Friday. Perk, what are your expectations for him in his rookie season in Detroit?
You know what? I think that he is going to put up numbers. This kid could flat out play. We already know that. Obviously, he was drafted number 1. My concerns is how he's going to fit along there, alongside the guy Hayes that they picked with the lottery pick last season. Cade is the guy that is a point forward. We already know that he could get buckets. We know that he has a mid-range. He can shoot the 3. He could post up. But the thing that I love most about him is his facilitating, his playmaking for others. And I'm just watching them in Summer League. I'm trying to see how Detroit is going to find a way to make him and the kid Hayes work because they both are ball dominant.
Well, let me say this. I like Hayes, but I think Hayes also needs to make sure that he's working with Cade Cunningham.
I think that's on him, right?
Yeah, but if you go back and look at the Boston Celtics when they had Jaylen Brown and then they drafted Jason Tatum. They could have had the point guard and Markelle Fultz, and they brought in Gordon Hayward. Obviously, he was injured, but when I look at Cade Cunningham, you know what I see for NBA fans? I see Brandon Roy. Like, Brandon Roy was one of the most impressive right away NBA players that you could see, because he was like fast, but he wasn't that fast. He was quick, but he wasn't that quick. He was athletic, but not super athletic. But what he did is he just understood the game at an extremely high level, and he didn't have any deficiencies in his game. He was strong, dominant, going to left. He would post up smaller guards. He could go by bigger guards. He just had such a complete game. And when I look at Cade Cunningham, I don't see a lot of flaws. And even within his game, the flow and rhythm that he plays with is so effortless. He knocked down 7 threes, but none of these are like Jalen Green, step back sideways. They're just catching rhythm, step into it, reading the floor. It's just a great pace that he plays with. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And look, the nice thing about being good at everything, which he's such a complete player already, is that if one part of your game isn't working, and we've seen this already with his summer league play, he's got so many other things in his bag that he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just be a 3-point shooter today. And, oh, there's 7 of them. I think the people of Detroit should be very excited about what's going to happen in their building this upcoming season. I'm excited about what's happening upcoming in this show. We're going to talk a little LeBron and Russ. They're already working out together, but how will they fit on the court? These guys will break it down. First, though, here's what The Jump recommends for today on ESPN+. Kevin Pelton, the machine, giving us his 2021 Summer League standouts. You can expect to see Cade Cunningham on there. Check out the story to see who else makes the cut, and we'll be right back. Own right, Josiah Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. We are thrilled we finally got you on The Jump.
We appreciate y'all for having me on. I'm excited to join this illustrious crew of legends.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were smart, by the way. You're not getting in between Perk and Richard on this screen. You have chosen the wise position. I do want to ask you about what you tweeted out after the Clippers trade surfaced. You just immediately react. I mean, I think that's part of what is so incredible about the game you have on social, is you always have the exact right thing, and it's lightning fast. When Westbrook see Pat Bev on plane leaving LAX for Memphis, how do you come up with this stuff, especially like that?
Well, like the legend Sugar Free said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I try to just stay ready with the heat at all times. And whatever happens in the NBA Twitter space, try to react to it as quick as possible. Know I'm battling legends like your guys' social team with kids like Hezzy J and Grant Goldberg and that crew over there. So just try to bring the heat, try to keep up with them, and make sure everything I drop is fire.
So we had your pops in Milwaukee, and again, he covered my games when I was at Arizona. I played against your brother at UCLA. What I want to know is, like, for the family, like, was that a big moment seeing the Milwaukee Bucks get a championship and knowing how much your dad put into that organization and still represents them to this day?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous moment for him. We all went out as a family to Game 3 in Milwaukee and just got to turn up and really enjoy the experience. He had so much fun Game 3. He went back for Game 4. I know Game 4, Perky saw you and Kareem and Dave Chappelle and a bunch of legends. He had so much fun in Game 4. He went back for Game 6. Had so much fun. Obviously, Game 6, they won the championship. He stayed for the parade, and then I'm seeing him in the parade route, shirtless, flexing his chest off, and he really had me in the gym trying to get back on his level because he's 65 years old, but he looks like he's 40, so I had to get my sexy back as well. But obviously, the city of Milwaukee's been great to him and been super supportive of everything he's got going on, so it was just a tremendous time. I'm super happy for them. Obviously, I'm a LeBron, a Lakers guy, but Milwaukee's my second favorite team, and appreciate them for hooking up the tickets and letting us come out there and just flourish.
Mm-hmm. And your dad can still dunk, too. That's the part that just blows me away.
You hear that, Perk? His dad can still dunk.
Yeah, that's fine, Richard. Hey, look, it's my moment. You just had your time. Josiah, what's up, brother? Look, I know how you feel about King James. I know how you feel about your Los Angeles Lakers. They just got Russell Westbrook. Now they got a big three. What's your expectations for LeBron this season and the Lakers?
Well, first and foremost, what's up, my elite brethren? And, secondarily, obviously, I'm a big LeBron guy, UCLA guy, so I love Westbrook. I was super happy about the move. I feel like some Lakers fans out there were a little cautious hearing that, but I think Russ is just a tremendous player. Obviously, he's a big Kobe fan. Kobe's his favorite player growing up. He's got that Mamba mentality. And I think they're really going to learn how to work together and coexist. LeBron going into year 19, he doesn't need to be as ball dominant. I think Russ can really pick up the slack there. Obviously, Russ is a great distributor, great rebounder. And I think the squad, obviously, the nation, obviously when the trade first happened, everybody was like, oh, they're too old, they're whack and whatever. So we'll let them keep that mojo going. LeBron's out here sending shots, tweeting stuff, deleting stuff, and really letting people know, putting them on notice. But, for me, hopefully, I'm gonna be, optimistic that hopefully we can just make the playing game. I don't expect much from this squad. Maybe we just get playing game, we'll be all right. But we'll let everybody sleep on us till it's too late.
Again, the sarcasm. There we go. I want to ask you about something you're doing outside of basketball. You're one of the writers on the upcoming Netflix show Colin in Black and White, which is about Colin Kaepernick's high school years. How did you become a part of that project? What was that experience like in the writer's room? Because I've gone home with Cap when I was covering football, and it's just a fascinating story.
Well, Rachel, I'm a man of many talents, so obviously everybody sees the Twitter and all that. But I keep multiple bags coming in. I got kids to feed and family to take care of. But just getting the opportunity to work with Ava DuVernay and Colin Kaepernick on this project was obviously one of the great